Hey everyone, welcome to the Team Hardcore Trading Call. Today is December, looking at my calendar, 21st. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I'm really excited to bring to you this training today. First of all, a couple announcements, just really quick, and I am going to be quick on this training. It's not going to be an hour-long one. Michelle and I talked before this, and we know everyone's busy, so it's not going to be like an hour-long training, but it's going to be super effective and one that's so important for everyone to hear, and especially if you've had coaches who, if you've been in the business for a while or your coaches have been in the business for a while, this is going to be a really, really important one for them to hear and for you to hear. So real quick, make sure that you are registered for your local Super Saturday. If you're in the UK, it is January, don't misquote me, but I think it's January 13th or 14th. No, I'm not positive, but I know it's not the same as our weekend. Our weekend for the US and Canada is the weekend before. So like for myself and Corey and Meg Kozlowski, we are co-hosting in Perrysburg, Ohio, where we always do. And that one's gonna be amazing. And we're gonna do Turbo, and Michelle, who's my guest speaker, is gonna be up on stage with me. So I'm super excited about that. We're gonna have a blast at our Super Saturday. Make sure you get registered because we did not reserve a whole lot of space for this. And we wanna make sure that you get in before it sells out. So that's the one announcement. Secondly, of course, we're in the thick of it right now with the launch of 80-Day Obsession. So I hope that you got your pack, either one of your challenge pack or your bundle or some 80-Day Obsession product so that you can get into the coach test group. I already got mine. I already got it in the mail. I'd already had one from Being Elite. They gave us one, but I bought another one because I want to be in that coach test group. So I hope that you got yours. All you have to do is log in at teambeachbody.com. That's your online office. You click shop, you click fitness programs and 80-Day Obsession, and take your choice, okay? So make sure you do that. Of course, this is the week where we're doing a little obsessed. Hopefully you're checking that out as well, and you're getting yourself and your challengers and your coaches geared up to actually do the program, which starts on Monday, January 15th. Autumn is launching the nutrition plan prior to that, and is gonna be in the group talking about prepping before the group actually starts. That happens a week before January 15th. So I hope you are ready to roll with all of this because we are in a very exciting time. And if you missed last week's training, it wasn't really a training, it was just more like an announcement. I went live in our Coach Success group. I went live in that group. You can search. I think if you just do a search in that group of Janelle, I think my posts will all come up and you'll see that I went live in the group, and or maybe you search 80-Day Obsession. I don't know. But do a search and you'll see that I went live and I talked about the future of coaching and why this year and going forward is going to be different than before. And not just different, but a bigger and better opportunity for all of us. More opportunities with commissions, more opportunities with team bonus, and therefore more opportunities to help people get fit and help people change their lives through this coaching opportunity. So I hope you watch that. It's real quick. All right. Without further ado, let me introduce to you my friend and diamond coach, Miss Michelle. I almost called her Missy. Sure. Michelle Lurch. I'm trying to speak so fast that I'm like stumbling over my words. Michelle Lurch. Michelle and I have known each other for years. I won't go through her story because she'll probably end up telling her story, but I could go on and on about Michelle. I just absolutely adore her. And just so you know, I'm not one of those coaches, and I don't know if any coach really is, but I'm not one of those coaches that like thinks differently of you if you're not like an active coach or you're not like a working it coach. I'm not like that. I have coaches that I just love and adore and respect who aren't even active or aren't even Emerald. That doesn't mean I don't like love you as a coach. And please never hesitate to reach out to me. You're never bothering me. My number one priority in my business is my coach's success. I could care less if I make this sale or that sale. I'm way beyond that. My mission and what fuels me is that you guys have success, that I get those texts from you. Like I got a text this morning from one of my coaches, one of my leaders. I won't say her name just in case she doesn't want me to share, but she had a record massive, huge check this morning. And she was just like blown away by it. And that's what I love. That's what I love. And that's what I want for all of you. So do not hesitate to reach out to me. Never give up on yourselves. Michelle never did give up on herself. And she said, it took me so long to get to Diamond. I said, no, it didn't. it was like that once you made up your mind. Once she made up her mind to go diamond, she went diamond as record fast. It was really making that decision. So let me have Michelle explain further. So with that, Michelle, are you there? Hold on, I'm going to present you to everyone.
Okay.
So that's awesome. I just said present you to everyone. You're not presented to everyone. This happened one other time. Now the only option it gives me is to stop presenting you to everyone, which I'm going to stop presenting myself to everyone. Let's see. Try that. And see if it'll. Oh my gosh, you guys, hang on. I'm not going to give up on this. It did this one other time. Dang it.
I don't know what's going on.
The only thing I can think of, Michelle, is could you go out and come back in real quick, and maybe it's just
like exit out the link.
Exit out and then click that same link again.
Okay.
We'll see if it works the second time through. Because that would be super annoying if Michelle is presenting and I'm just like, hey, I don't want to have to do that. So hopefully this works. And I know it seems like there's lots of technical glitches with this YouTube Live. Usually it's not the YouTube Live. Usually it's something on my end or the other person's end. Let me see, Michelle. Fingers crossed. Nope. Is there anything on the bottom of your screen, Michelle, that like shows a camera or something that maybe it thinks it wants your camera blocked?
Am I not? It's showing that I'm presenting to everybody. I'm like huge, and it says you're presenting to everyone.
Really?
And you are on the bottom.
Okay, well, that's interesting because on my end, I'm big, and you're little, and I'm looking at people's questions. And let me see, you guys tell us: am I on the screen or is Michelle on the screen?
Can you see my mess in the background?
They said they can hear you, but they can't see you.
Okay.
Well, here's what I think we should do. Okay, plan B. I'm just going to put a little blocker over my camera, and they're just going to hear you, Michelle.
Okay.
Okay. And we've got your picture up in the group so they can see you. And you guys need to follow her on Instagram and Facebook so you can actually see Michelle. But your words are going to be powerful. So here we go. Bye-bye. But you guys can still hear us. Go ahead, Michelle. Take it away.
Okay. Okay. Hi, guys. Sorry you can't see me. That's probably for the best. But just wanted to give you a little bit of background on myself. So I went to Bowling Green State University and got my bachelor's degree in exercise science. And that's kind of where I met Janelle. Actually, back in high school, I was introduced to Turbo Jam. So I was definitely an oddball 13, 14-year-old girl doing fitness videos in my living room. But so when I came to Bowling Green and kept gradually going through my program, one of my practicum advisors asked me, what's your favorite workout? What do you like to do? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with Turbo Jam. It's the best. Shalane Johnson, oh my gosh. And she goes, did you know that her sister actually teaches classes like around the corner? And I was like, Janelle Summers? No way. So I was, I think, a sophomore in college and stalked Janelle on Twitter. Never thought I would get a response back. And that was in, I think, 2010. And went to her class, became friends with everybody taking a class, became a fitness instructor after that. And then Janelle presented the business opportunity to me back in 2010. So my actual start date of coaching is December 13th, 2010. So fast forward to this year, I've been going to Summit for a couple years, and I went to Summit this year to see everybody I used to like hang out with in Toledo, to see Janelle, because I was living in North Carolina. I wanted to go to New Orleans, And so that's kind of like where my mindset was going into Summit this year. I just wanted to see my friends, and I'm a huge personal development junkie. So I was like, Brendon Burchard's going to be there. This is going to be amazing. So went in with that mindset. And after being there, everything just like kind of sparked a new fire. So I left Summit. My relationship at the time, I was living in North Carolina, was a little bit rocky. We fought a lot about money. So I came out thinking, I'm going to do this for us. This will be it. I can do this. One of my friends, actually, she was one of my sorority sisters in college who was a senior when I was a freshman. She's actually on Shred Nation and one of my success partners right now. But she told me at Summit that her and her friends used to screenshot my pictures on Instagram and talk about me in a group chat. And I was like, no way. And she's like, can you imagine how many other people you're like impacting and you don't even know it? And I was like, whoa, So I came out. I want to do this for us. Beachbody, whole new level. Here I am. I'm back 7 years later. 3 weeks post Summit, surprise, my boyfriend and I broke up. So I was completely shocked. I definitely didn't expect it. It wasn't my decision. And I was living in North Carolina with no family, like 2 friends, living in my ex-boyfriend's house. And I was at a job that was just okay. Like I said earlier, I got my bachelor's degree in exercise science. So I've been in the corporate fitness industry for about 6 years, doing the same exact thing for a while now. And back in March, I was ready to progress. I was really into leadership. I was taking a lot of classes, and I presented that to my director and my direct supervisor. And I was like, I'm ready. Like, where can I go next? What can I do? I like teaching. I like helping people learn. Where can I go now? And it ended up being me wanting to do this with 2 women at the top who didn't want too many other women at the top. So I had to stay in North Carolina because I didn't have a job lined up in Cleveland yet, which is where I'm from and where I live right now, for 3 months, hoping that I could find a job and have some kind of income. But so I was miserable living with my ex-boyfriend in the same house for 3 months because I didn't have anywhere else to go. And I think that is where my whole mind shift change happened. That's where my why changed. Beachbody had to be the answer. Beachbody was the answer. I didn't want to stay in North Carolina. I never wanted to be in that situation ever again where I had to force myself to live in a situation that was literally crushing me mentally. I didn't want to move back in with my mom. I'm 27 years old. I have a very different lifestyle than my mom. Love her to death, but we're very different people. And I've been on my own for almost 10 years now. So having to, take that hard hit and move back in with my mom was kind of awful. And I didn't want to be in that situation again where I had to rely on my parents to help me out. And then I didn't want to be stuck in a position where I know I'm a good leader. I was doing it for interns. I was doing it for coworkers. I was ready to be in a leadership role, and I didn't want to wait for somebody else to give me permission to be in that role. So Beachbody, it had to be it, and it was the answer. So flashback to when I met Janelle, back in 2010, I joined, and my why in this business was because I was like starstruck. I was obsessed with Turbo Jam and Turbo Fire and Turbo Kick and Shalene, and I couldn't believe that I could say, oh my gosh, I know Janelle Summers, so whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Absolutely, I'm going to do it for you. Now I found my own mindset of no, this is what I've been looking for. It's been here all along. and I'm going to make this work. So that's kind of where my mind shift changed. And in between 2010 and 2017, I was on the Emerald roller coaster. So I was successful and I was my checks were kind of high, and then I would drop down because it wasn't a priority of mine. I was just doing it because, I wanted Janelle to like me, or, I wanted to do it because it was exciting at first, but I didn't really have that hard backed why of why am I here? It wasn't clear yet. So a lot of people say that you have a join date and a start date. I've heard that in summits past. I don't remember who said it, but my join date, like I said, was December 13th, 2010. And my start date is July 13th, 2017. And I hit diamond about 3.5 months later. So that was pretty exciting. And like Janelle said earlier, I said it took me a real long time to get here. But in hindsight, really, in July, I started over. Just because I've been in this business doesn't mean I had coaches underneath me. I had 8 coaches at one point in 2011. I had 1 coach in July. So I started completely over. And I was at coach rank, and I wasn't drinking Shakeology. I wasn't doing programs regularly. I started over, and 3.5 months later, after that mind shift, what am I saying? I don't know. Mindset change, I hit diamond rank, which feels awesome. And I'm excited to talk to you about actually the steps I took post-summit that helped me get there. So first thing essentially I did after summit was I wanted to dive hard into myself. I gained a lot of weight when I moved in with my ex-boyfriend and moved into North Carolina because, it's Southern. Everything is Southern. If any of you live in North Carolina, you know about Bojangles and Zaxby's, and that's what he ate all the time. Do you want to get Chinese food? Do you want to get Chipotle? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I don't want to be eating gnawing on broccoli if you're eating Zaxby's and I get to smell that. So I gained probably about 10 to 14 pounds living in North Carolina. And I really started trying to lose weight back in late April, early May, when Chalene released her diet beta test. So I jumped on that. And I didn't do it with Shakeology. I was working out regularly because that's my job. I teach classes every single day. So, but I didn't really see much of a change. So at beta test, I did drop about 4 pounds doing that. So something was working. And I was learning a lot about gut health, and I was listening to podcasts, and I was listening and absorbing the information. And then after summit, it clicked duh, Michelle, you're learning about gut health. You're learning about all this stuff. Why are you not drinking Shakeology again? So I finally redid everything. I took everything I learned from back in late April, early May, applied it back when I was doing the shift shop right after summit, and started drinking Shakeology again. At summit, I think I weighed around 138 pounds. And by the end of August, I was weighing in at 128, 129 after adding Shakeology back in, and I lost 5.5 inches around my belly button just in a month and a half, which is crazy.
That is amazing.
It's crazy.
So I just want to mention one thing. Above, at the top of your screen, do you see the little icon of the camera?
I don't see any icon of a camera.
If you scroll up to it, you'd have to scroll up and hover, and then it appears?
Yeah, it says turn camera off.
Oh, so it already thinks yours is on.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Just checking.
I tried to turn it off and then turn it back on earlier, but I don't think it worked.
Okay, continue. It's awesome.
Okay. um, and so after adding Shakeology back in and seeing those results, everything just like made sense. And so I kicked off a challenge group, a free group, just for accountability purposes, just to get myself back on track. I know what a coach is supposed to do, so I wanted to get myself back in that mindset before really digging in. So I paid attention to myself. And honestly, that 5.5 inches around my belly button wasn't fat mass. I mean, a lot of it was, but like it was bloating. And that was a lot that you learned about your gut and gut health in Shalene's now called 131 program. You learn that you hit this plateau and you're bloating, and it's the foods that you're eating and really fixing your gut. And so I attacked that hard because I watched it happen to me. And prior to this, when I did the diet beta test back in April and May, I was cutting fruit out. I wouldn't eat bananas. I wouldn't touch an apple because it had too many carbs in it. I was cutting carbs completely, so I wasn't eating any carbs at all. I like craft beer, so I enjoy craft beer. I cut that out for a really long time, and I only lost 4 pounds. And I was like crushing my social life. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I was tired. And so adding that Shakeology back in has been insane. And just to add on that, you drink Shakeology for a reason. So tell that to people, express that, tell them why you're doing it and why you decided to do it, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so that's why when you hear in these trainings, when you're holding up your shaker cup that says Shakeology, you're not going to get very many hits and links on that, because they're like, cool, here's another sale. People want to know why. Like, why are you drinking that? Why are you so passionate about it? So tell them. All right, so I've got a lot of stuff going on over here, but I kind of made a checklist on exactly what I did post summit, because my brain works that way. I'm like, I need to be in a group. I need this. I need a list. What do I do next? So if you have a pen and paper or your phone out, I'm going to give you like eight things to do from now until you hit that diamond like I did. And then just like a random little tip at the end that I just heard and I love. So number 1 on the checklist is to find a success partner and have a weekly call. That was huge for me coming out of Summit. And I did that even while I was working on myself. And my goals with my success partner weren't, I want to be talking to 6 people a day, or I want to be talking or sharing the business opportunity with 3 people a day. It was, I want to make sure I'm getting my workout in, I'm getting my shake in, and I'm doing what I need to be doing to take care of me. So number 1, success partner. And my success partner, I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier, she was that old sorority sister. She's on Shred Nation. And I like having a success partner that is on a different team, because she hears things from her uplines and I hear stuff from Janelle and what I'm learning, and they're very different. And so we're bringing best of both worlds in. So I would highly recommend getting a success partner. Tip number 2, or checklist number 2, I stalked Janelle and I was like, can I please be in your Push to Emerald group? And like Janelle said earlier, she doesn't give up on people. I was like so nervous to be like, hey, can I have another chance? But don't be, check your ego and just get in a Push to Emerald group, because think of yourself as the new coach. Start over. It doesn't matter what you were doing 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Right now, you start fresh. Get in a Push to Emerald group. Number 3, I already talked about. Start a free group where you're making sure that you're getting in your workouts and your shake and your personal development. And honestly, my whole marketing on that was, hey, I need to get myself back in gear. I want to see a change for me, and I want to be accountable to you. Like, do you feel the same way? Kick it off. Number 4 make your list. And I never did this in the whole 7 years I was a coach. I never made a list until I was in that Push to Emerald group, ever, ever, ever. So when you hear that over and over again, nobody's lying to you. Make a list. Make a list.
Thank you.
Literally, if you're going to be in a Push to Emerald group, you're going to have to do it anyways. So, and then part of making that list is sending out personal messages. And that is something I never did either. I never took the time to reach out to people individually. I love posting on social media. I'm a social media guru. I love taking pictures. I like sharing my workout. But 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to be like, oh, cool. What do you do? How do you become a coach? It's not going to happen. So send out those personal messages. And that was where my business took off, literally. Not being afraid to just be like, hey, this is what worked for me. I see that you're crushing it in your fitness goals, or just like small connections. It doesn't even have to be related to fitness. But personal messages, list and personal messages. I'm going to say it again, list and personal messages. As many times as you hear it, nobody's lying to you. Do those things. Number 5, I know the number is like 3 posts a day. You want to be posting, engaging 3. 3's in my head. Janelle, if I'm wrong and it's supposed to be more, I don't know. But when I first came back into the business, my goal was just 1. I just wanted 1 engaging post a day, and I was okay with that because I was working on me, but I wanted to share it as well without being overwhelming to a lot of people. So my goal was just 1.
That's a really good tip, Michelle. Just to keep it simple with just 1 that has quality.
Yeah. And eventually there'll be more. It'll build eventually when you're in the game longer, but starting off, it's uncomfortable it was uncomfortable for me. It's uncomfortable for people, who just join that are saying like, oh my gosh, I have to all of a sudden, like I never was on social media. Now I have to post 3 times a day. What do I talk about? What do I say? Mm-hmm. So that was a big goal for me. It was just 1. And then 6 eventually was keep going and showing up. So 6, show up, to eventually get into 7 where you're at your Push to Diamond group. I remember I was like, oh my gosh, I only have 3 coaches, Janelle. What do I do? And she's like, Michelle, you can do this. Where's your number 4? That's the quality of it. And I was like, dang it, I can't cut corners. And so I did what I had to do, and I got a 4th coach, and I was in the Push to Diamond. So show up every single day, do something that will move your business forward. That's number 6. And then 7, get in that Push to Diamond group. And I have this written down in a weird spot, but back to those personal messages, talk to people like they're your friends. And that was a big thing that I made a mistake on a long, long time ago when I first joined, was I would like put on my sales rep voice when I start talking Beachbody and like, I drink Shakeology because it has blank, 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 blank. And people are like, huh? Like, cool. Nice fun fact, Michelle. Thanks for that. But like seriously, now when you're personal messaging people and they're like, oh, what is that thing that you're drinking, or what's in your Instagram story? Like, you don't need to start rattling nutritional facts about Shakeology. Like, literally, that is your key to tell your story. Hey, it helped me lose 5.5 inches around my belly button because it healed my gut. And they're like, what? No way. Where'd you hear that information? And that's what gets the conversation going. So talk to people like they're your friends. You would never go up to like your best friend if she was like, hey, what is that new workout you're doing? You wouldn't be like, oh, it's 80-day obsession and it comes with sliders and like, you would never say that. So don't talk to strangers like that either. And then my last one, number 8, is don't be afraid to fail. So, because you will. It'll happen. I set a goal at Summit, and I even have it written down next to, and I even think it was in my Push to Emerald group, I wanted to be diamond by my birthday, which was September 5th. And I wasn't. But does it matter now that I wasn't diamond in September and it happened in November? Not at all, because from September to November, I still showed up every single day and did what I was supposed to do. And here I am sitting at diamond. And that's a big thing. And even like failing on a smaller scale, just to share another story of mine, is I use that poll thing a lot on Instagram stories. And about 80% of the time, if I have a no response in there, 80% of the people will answer no. Like, hey, do you want to be a part of my next challenge group? 80% is no. And then I started switching it over to like yes or like yes. And 80% of those people were still no. But the 20% that you still get from there is a success. You have to focus on that 20% because you will get 20%. And so if you're constantly focusing on the 80% of the negative that's saying no, you're never going to be paying attention to the 20% that's yes. Because in reality, when you think about it, I mean, and now with the mega packs being 3 Success Club points, it takes 3 people. It takes 3 people to hit Success Club 5. Just 3. You just have to help 3 people in a month. And that's so, so, so doable. I've never hit Success Club consistently as much as I have since August, ever, in my whole life. I don't even know if I've ever hit Success Club in years.
That's so awesome and powerful to hear.
Yeah, I really don't know. I think maybe one time in 7 years I did. But it's shifting, it's focusing on the positive and not worrying about say no. Because eventually a lot of those no's will turn into yeses. And if they don't ever, who cares? It's fine. Because you got all those other people saying yes in small amounts. And then so I just wanted to share one more thing. So those are my 8 tips. And if I need to repeat them, let me know because I'm a babbler. So I'm babbling all over the place right now.
Oh, you're doing awesome, Michelle. And I also recap them in our chat section.
Perfect. You're the best. So actually, the one thing that I consistently see people doing, there's actually 2 things I want to leave you with. Right when they start off, and I did it too a long time ago, and being in college and trying to follow somebody who is like married with a family, which is Janelle, our lifestyles are very different. I was a junior in college and she had, I think Tyler was like 7, I don't remember at the time. And so she was like going to like his like Pee-wee basketball games. I don't remember. I'm like making things up, Janelle, but like it was very different. And I was trying to mimic what she was doing, but it was coming off from like a junior in college. So I think when I did this call with Meg's team, I talked about Jen Delvaux, like love Jen Delvaux. I love watching her Instagram stories. But she'll like dance a little bit like in it, like she'll play a song and she's feeling good and she like gets down to it. And I feel like a lot of people like watch these big coaches and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to dance on Instagram stories to be successful, or I have to do this because that's what she's doing. But if that doesn't come natural to you, you don't do that. Like I won't be dancing on Instagram stories because it doesn't feel natural to me.
And you're a really, really good dancer too.
That was back in the day, Janelle.
Whatever.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel natural, like to me at all, but it does for Jen, and it works for her, and that's good. But you don't have to be like Jen to be successful in this business. You don't have to be like Janelle to be successful in this business, and that's why it works for everybody. So that was a huge thing that I had to learn the hard way in college. And then I heard this at Summit, and I actually, in my personal development this morning, and I'll have to bring up that podcast because actually Chelsea and Rob recommended it. But I was listening to something earlier, and at Summit, somebody said, you'll be exactly where you are right now in this very moment if it doesn't work. So why not try? And to add on to that, I was listening to the podcast and they were talking about, what would be the worst case scenario? So think about your Beachbody business as it is right now. What would be your worst case scenario if you didn't show up or work for it, or talk to 3 people a day, or get out of your comfort zone and go live and do a training that scares the heck out of you? What would your worst case scenario be? And she talked about like, okay, well, maybe, you'll lose out on some money, or you'll feel like a failure. But all of those things are a feeling that you have around it. And actually, the worst case scenario is not giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. And you can't just consider if it doesn't work. You need to consider what you're losing out on if it actually does. So if you do something to move your business forward, if you show up every single day and from now until summit, or now until a year from now, is it just, I'm losing out on, $50, or could you be a 6-figure earner in a year? And that's what you're losing out on by not trying. And I thought that was like so powerful to hear, because you need to think of it that way. So give yourself the benefit of the doubt and actually show up for who you can be a year from now.
That is so good.
I'll show that podcast.
So powerful.
Let me add, it's called the Life Coach School. Podcast is called the Life Coach School, and the episode was the worst that could happen.
Okay.
I did that today, and I was like, wow.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Does anybody? I'm done.
Oh, okay. Let me see if we have any questions. People are just like laughing and loving you. This was so good, Michelle. I'm so bummed that I couldn't have you on camera, but nonetheless, your words were super powerful, and I just so appreciate that you got on and shared exactly, and you really were clear, which I love, that you were so clear about the fact that when you started in 2010, 7 years ago, but your actual start date being July, I think you said July 13th of 2017, like that was when you really started. You have your join date and then you have your start date, and that you actually only had one coach, and you were just a coach rank at that time, and you weren't even doing the programs, you weren't doing Shakeology, you literally had to start from square one as if you were a newbie. And you did it, and you made up your mind, and it was just that mindset shift. And anyone can have that. It's completely up to you guys. And I hope that Michelle's story inspires you as much as it inspires me, because I think of so many of my coaches that are out there that maybe have felt like this didn't come at the right time in their life, or they weren't in the right frame of mind when they actually joined, or something came up shortly after they joined, or whatever, and they might feel like it's too late now, and that they can't have success, and it would be too daunting to start over. But the tips and checklists that Michelle just gave make it so simple. Of course, it's going to be hard work, but if you put it in the terms that she did and the checklist that she gave you, and you really just stay focused on yourself and what you can do for others, and not get distracted by everyone else and everything else, then your possibilities and your potential is huge. So Michelle, thank you so much for everything you prepared and how you truly spoke from the heart. You did an awesome job, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right, you guys, awesome. So we will be here next week. So next week is December 28th. We'll be here again, and right on in through January. I'm super excited to end the year strong. So make sure that if you didn't hear the whole thing, that you listen to the recording. And of course, they're always on JanelleSummers.com. You can log into the training archives with the username Team Hardcore and the password fitness. And there's tons of trainings there for you. So, all right, have a great rest of your week, Michelle, and everyone on the call.
Thanks.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.